There are certain things you learn when you drive alone at night for a living. You learn which rest stops to avoid. You learn what an empty road sounds like versus what it feels like. You learn the difference between a car that happens to be going the same direction as you and a car that is following you. Most of the time, you learn these things slowly, over years. I learned all of them in one night in Arkansas at 3:30 in the morning, in the rain. And the worst part isn't what happened at the rest stop. The worst part is what I found when I got back to my truck. Rural Arkansas, Highway 40 westbound, 3:30 in the morning. The kind of rain that has been going for hours and shows no sign of stopping. A rest stop with one working light, a concrete building, and a bench at the edge of the trees. This is where it started. I had been driving for 9 hours straight when I finally pulled into the rest area. It was outside a small town in Arkansas. One of those old stops you see off the highway, the kind that nobody's updated since the 90s. A few parking spaces, a concrete building with 2 doors and a single flickering bulb above each one. Some trees at the back, that was it. The rain had been going for hours, not heavy, just steady. The kind that doesn't let up and doesn't get worse. It just stays there, tapping against the windshield over and over until it becomes the only sound in the world. I checked the clock, 3:32 in the morning. I sat in the cab for a minute before getting out. I always do that. You get a feel for a place before you commit to it. This one felt empty. A pickup truck 2 spaces down, lights off. No movement anywhere. I climbed out. The rain hit my jacket immediately, cold. The parking lot was slick and the overhead lights were doing almost nothing against the dark. I started walking toward the restroom building, keeping my head down. That's when I noticed him. There was a man sitting on a bench near the tree line, just sitting there in the rain. He wasn't on his phone. He wasn't smoking. He was just sitting, completely still, facing the parking lot. I didn't stop walking. I kept my pace even, but something in my legs wanted to go a different direction. I pushed through the restroom door and the fluorescent light inside buzzed and blinked twice before holding. I stood at the sink longer than I needed to, washed my hands twice, checked my reflection for no reason at all. When I pushed back through the door, he was still there, same bench, same position, but he was looking directly at me now. I know because I could see the faint glow of something at his mouth, a cigarette maybe, and above it just barely 2 pale points in the dark. He hadn't moved. He was just watching. I locked the doors the second I was back in the cab, both of them. I checked the passenger side twice. I sat there with the engine idling and told myself it was nothing. Guy couldn't sleep, stopped for a smoke, didn't feel like sitting inside his car. People do strange things at 3 in the morning. I do strange things at 3 in the morning. That's not a reason to panic. I believed that for about 40 seconds. Then I looked in the side mirror. He hadn't moved, still on the bench, still facing my direction. The rain was coming down the same as before, steady and quiet, and he was just sitting in it like he didn't notice, like he'd been there long before I pulled in and planned to be there long after I left. I reached over and made sure the passenger window was all the way up. It was. I checked it again anyway. I pulled out my phone to call my dispatcher just to hear another voice. No signal, 1 bar, then nothing. I set it face down on the seat. Outside, nothing had changed. I turned the heat up even though I wasn't cold. The cab filled with the low sound of the fan, and I focused on that for a while. Just the fan, just the rain, normal things. When I looked back at the mirror, he was standing. He hadn't been standing before. I don't know when he got up. I hadn't looked away for more than a few seconds, but he was on his feet now and he was facing the truck. Not the parking lot, not the road, the truck. My hand found the gear shift without me deciding to move it. He took 1 step forward, just one. Then he stopped, and then he tilted his head, slow. Just a few degrees to the right, the way you'd look at something you were trying to figure out, like a problem he was working through. My mouth went dry. I put the truck in first. I pulled out slow. I didn't want to rush it. Rushing felt like confirming something, like admitting I was running. So I eased the rig forward, took the turn toward the exit ramp at a normal speed, and kept my eyes on the road ahead. I made it about 40 feet before I checked the mirror. He was still standing in the same spot, watching the truck move. His head had straightened back out and he was just tracking me the way you'd watch a car pass on the street. Calm, patient. Like he had all the time in the world. I hit the ramp and accelerated onto the highway. The rain was heavier out here. No tree cover, nothing to break it. Just open road and black sky and water coming down in sheets across the headlights. I set the cruise at 62 and told myself it was done. Rest stop was 20 miles back already. Whatever that was, it was over. I turned the radio on. Some AM station out of Little Rock, half static, a man talking about weather patterns moving in from the west. I left it on just to fill the cab with something. For about 15 minutes it worked. Then my eyes went to the mirror again. There were headlights behind me. A good distance back, maybe a quarter mile. Could have been anyone. Trucks run these roads all night. I watched them for a moment, then looked back at the road. 2 minutes later I checked again. Same distance, exact same distance. I sped up to 68. I watched the mirror. The headlights kept pace. I moved into the left lane for no reason, just to see. The headlights moved too. My hand went to my phone before I remembered. No signal. I set it back down. The radio static got worse. The man's voice broke apart, came back for a word or two, then disappeared completely. I was alone on the road, and someone was making sure to stay close enough that I knew it. I took the next exit I saw. It wasn't one I planned to take. I didn't even check the sign. I just saw the ramp and turned, cutting across the right lane fast enough that the trailer swayed a little. I didn't care. I needed to see what those headlights would do. I watched the mirror the whole way down the ramp. The headlights slowed at the top. Then they turned. My stomach dropped in a way I can't really describe. It wasn't panic exactly. It was more like something clicking into place. Like a part of my brain that had been arguing with itself for the last 20 minutes just went quiet. This was real. I was at the bottom of the ramp now, stopped at a red light on an empty county road. No gas stations, no diners, nothing open. Just flat Arkansas farmland on both sides and a single traffic light swinging in the wind above me, throwing red across the wet hood of the truck. The headlights came down the ramp behind me. They stopped maybe 3 car lengths back, just sat there idling. The light stayed red for a long time, longer than it should have. I kept my foot on the brake and my eyes on the mirror, and I counted the seconds without meaning to. 17, 18, 19. The engine behind me didn't move. Didn't inch forward, just waited. 26, 27. The light went green. I didn't move right away. I waited 1 full second to see if they would. They didn't. I pulled forward slowly, watching. The headlights followed, keeping that same 3-length gap, precise, deliberate. The kind of distance that says I see you without getting close enough to confirm anything. I turned left onto a county road I didn't know. They turned left. I turned right at the next intersection. They turned right. My hands were on the wheel at 10 and 2, and I noticed they were gripping hard enough that my knuckles had gone a different color. I didn't look down to check. I already knew. I found a 24-hour truck stop about 6 miles down the road. The sign was visible from a distance, that yellow and red glow that usually means nothing more than coffee in a bathroom. That night it looked like the most important thing I had ever seen. I pulled in hard, swung the rig into the lot, and parked as close to the building as I could get. There were other trucks here, 4 of them. I had never been so relieved to see parked vehicles in my life. I kept my eyes on the mirror while the engine idled. The road outside the lot stayed empty for 1 minute, then 2. No headlights, nothing turning in after me. Just the rain and the empty road and the yellow glow of the truck stop signs reflecting off the wet asphalt out front. I sat there for 11 minutes before I got out. Inside, a woman behind the counter was restocking a rack of road maps without looking up. A man in a booth near the window was eating eggs and reading something on his phone. A television mounted in the corner was running a local news broadcast on low volume. Normal things, completely, perfectly normal things. I got a coffee I didn't drink. I sat at the counter and stared at the door. Nobody came in behind me. After a while, my hands stopped doing the thing they had been doing. I stayed until 5:45 in the morning. When the sky outside started going from black to the kind of dark gray that means dawn is coming, I walked back out to the truck. The lot was quiet. The rain had finally let up, just a light mist now. I did a walk around of the rig like I always do before a long pull. Checked the tires, checked the trailer hitch, checked the running lights. When I got to the back of the trailer, I stopped. In the thin layer of road dust on the trailer's rear doors, somebody had drawn a straight horizontal line with one finger. It was fresh. The edges were clean. I looked at the lot around me, empty. I got in the truck. I called my dispatcher. I told him I needed a different route. He asked me why. I didn't know how to answer that. I changed my route after that night. But here's the thing about driving alone in the dark across this country. It's a big country, and some of the people on those roads at 3 in the morning are not people you ever want to meet twice. If you want to hear what happened the next time something felt wrong on a night run, that story is right there. I'd watch it with the lights on.